In the small town of Ravenswood, nestled at the edge of a dense and ancient forest, lived a man named Samuel. He was an ordinary individual with an ordinary life, until an eerie incident began to haunt him, turning his nights into a terrifying ordeal. It all started innocently enough. Samuel had always been a restless sleeper, prone to occasional nightmares that left him waking in a cold sweat. However, one fateful night, as the clock struck midnight, an otherworldly force seemed to descend upon him. Samuel awoke abruptly, but his body felt heavy, as if an invisible force was holding him down. Panic seized him as he realized he couldn't move a muscle. His room, once familiar and comforting, now felt like a claustrophobic chamber of dread. Moonlight filtered through the curtains, casting long, distorted shadows that danced on the walls. Samuel's heart pounded in his chest as he tried to scream, yet his voice was nothing more than a muted whisper. The air grew thick with an unsettling tension. As Samuel lay there, paralyzed and vulnerable, he began to sense a malevolent presence in the room. Shadows seemed to coalesce into sinister shapes, and an icy breeze whispered through the air, carrying with it an otherworldly murmuring. His breath caught in his throat as he felt a chilling touch on his shoulder, an ethereal hand that left him trembling with fear. The episodes of sleep paralysis became more frequent, each night more horrifying than the last. Samuel tried to convince himself it was a mere product of his imagination, a manifestation of stress or fatigue, but the terror he experienced was undeniably real. The once welcoming embrace of sleep became a gateway to a nightmarish realm, and he dreaded the impending darkness. One night, as the clock neared midnight, Samuel decided to confront his fear. He read about sleep paralysis and tried various techniques to snap out of it, but the malevolent force seemed to intensify its grip. Desperation set in, and Samuel sought the help of a local paranormal investigator, a woman named Evelyn who had dealt with similar cases in the past. Evelyn, a skeptic by nature, agreed to spend a night at Samuel's house to witness the strange occurrences firsthand. As midnight approached, the atmosphere thickened, and the temperature in the room dropped. Samuel could feel the ominous presence building, and he anxiously awaited Evelyn's verdict. Suddenly, the room plunged into darkness, and a guttural growl echoed through the air. Evelyn, normally composed and confident, recoiled in fear. Samuel's body remained paralyzed, but his senses were heightened. Shadows writhed on the walls, and an indistinct figure materialized at the foot of his bed. Evelyn, determined to unravel the mystery, pulled out an ancient-looking book and began reciting an incantation. The room trembled as the malevolent force resisted, but Evelyn persisted. As she spoke the final words, a blinding light enveloped the room, dispelling the darkness. When Samuel regained control of his body, he found himself alone in his room. The oppressive atmosphere had lifted, and the paranormal investigator was nowhere to be seen. He searched the house, but Evelyn had vanished without a trace. From that night on, Samuel's sleep paralysis episodes ceased, but the memory of those horrifying nights lingered. The forest at the edge of Ravenswood seemed to hold its secrets, and whispers of a spectral presence persisted among the townsfolk. Samuel, forever changed by the ordeal, now lived with the haunting knowledge that some nightmares are not confined to the realm of dreams but may lurk in the shadows of reality. The following weeks were filled with an uneasy calm for Samuel. His sleep paralysis had ceased, and the malevolent force that had plagued his nights seemed to have retreated into the shadows. However, the tranquility was deceptive, as the memory of that nightmarish period continued to haunt him. Samuel's once normal life took a peculiar turn. He started noticing peculiar occurrences, strange whispers echoing through the empty halls of his house, flickering lights that defied explanation, and a constant feeling of being watched. The boundary between his waking hours and the nightmares of the past began to blur, leaving him perpetually on edge. As he delved into the local lore, Samuel discovered a dark history surrounding Ravenswood. Legend spoke of an ancient curse tied to the dense forest that bordered the town. Whispers of malevolent spirits and restless souls caught in a perpetual struggle for release filled the air. Some claimed that the curse was triggered by a forgotten transgression against nature, a sin that had stained the land for generations. Haunted by the need for answers, Samuel sought out the town's oldest resident, a wise woman named Agatha, rumored to possess knowledge of the town's hidden secrets. Agatha lived in a small cottage on the outskirts of Ravenswood, surrounded by an overgrown garden that seemed to defy the encroaching darkness. As Samuel approached the cottage, the air grew heavy with an almost palpable tension. Agatha, with her ancient eyes that held the weight of centuries, welcomed him inside. The flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows on the walls, giving the impression that the room itself was alive with unseen entities. Agatha listened intently to Samuel's tale, her gaze piercing through the veil of his words. With a solemn nod, she revealed the town's dark secret, a pact made with a vengeful spirit to protect Ravenswood from an imminent threat. The terms of the pact demanded an annual offering, a soul to appease the restless force that dwelled within the forest. Samuel, shaken by the revelation, realized the magnitude of his plight. The malevolent force that had tormented him was not an isolated incident, but part of a sinister cycle that had persisted for centuries. Agatha explained that Evelyn, the paranormal investigator who had seemingly vanished that fateful night, had willingly become the sacrificial soul to break the curse temporarily. Determined to break free from the grip of the ancient curse, Samuel embarked on a perilous journey into the heart of the forbidden forest. Armed with the knowledge Agatha had shared and a sense of dread that clung to him like a second skin, he ventured into the unknown. The forest, shrouded in an impenetrable darkness, seemed to come alive with unseen whispers and ghostly apparitions. Each step deeper into the woods felt like a descent into madness. Samuel's surroundings distorted, and the line between reality and the supernatural blurred. As he reached the heart of the forest, an ethereal presence materialized before him. The vengeful spirit, a manifestation of ancient rage, confronted Samuel with eyes that gleamed like molten embers. The air grew thick with an oppressive force, and the spirit demanded retribution for the disturbance caused by the town's pact. Summoning all his courage, Samuel pleaded for mercy and offered a different solution, to break the cycle of sacrifice and free both the town and the restless spirits bound by the curse. The forest echoed with a haunting silence before the spirit, seemingly contemplating Samuel's proposal, granted him a choice. Samuel, now burdened with the weight of his decision, faced the daunting task of convincing the townsfolk to abandon the age-old pact. With Agatha's guidance, he rallied the community, sharing the untold truth of Ravenswood's dark history. The revelation ignited a mixture of fear, disbelief, and anger among the townspeople, but Samuel's earnest plea resonated with those who yearned for liberation. As the town stood at the precipice of a pivotal moment, the ancient forest seemed to release its hold. The malevolent force that had tormented Samuel dissipated, leaving behind an eerie calm. The curse that had bound Ravenswood for generations began to unravel, and the forest, once a realm of nightmares, transformed into a place of quiet serenity. The journey, fraught with peril and haunted by the specters of the past, had come to an end. Samuel, forever changed by the ordeal, now carried the weight of the town's history on his shoulders. Ravenswood, liberated from the shackles of an ancient curse, embraced a new dawn, while the whispers of the forest faded into a distant memory. In the aftermath of the revelation and the subsequent liberation of Ravenswood, the townsfolk found themselves grappling with the newfound reality. The air of uncertainty hung heavy, as the echoes of the past still reverberated through the quiet streets. Samuel, now both hero and pariah, struggled to find his place in a community marked by a history that had been hidden for generations. The once divided town slowly began to heal as the truth took root. The bond among the people deepened as they collectively decided to face the consequences of their forebears' actions. Rituals that once served to appease the vengeful spirit were replaced with acts of unity and compassion, symbolizing a commitment to break free from the cycle of darkness. However, not everyone embraced the change. Some residents clung to the old ways, viewing Samuel as a disruptor of the fragile balance that had sustained Ravenswood for centuries. Whispers of discontent lingered in the shadows, and Samuel became an outcast in his own town. The weight of the truth he had uncovered weighed heavily on him, but he remained resolute in his belief that Ravenswood deserved a chance at redemption. As the seasons changed, so did the atmosphere in Ravenswood. The once haunting forest became a symbol of resilience and transformation. Nature, once twisted by the malevolent force, now flourished with renewed vitality. The townsfolk, though scarred by the past, began to rebuild their lives, forging connections that transcended the ancient curse. One day, as Samuel walked through the now thriving forest, a familiar presence manifested before him. The vengeful spirit, no longer cloaked in rage, regarded him with an expression that hinted at forgiveness. In a voice that echoed through the trees, the spirit acknowledged the courage it took to defy the shackles of tradition and face the darkness that had held the town captive. With a subtle nod, the spirit dispersed into the gentle breeze, leaving behind a sense of closure. Ravenswood, once ensnared in the grip of a malevolent force, had been given a second chance at peace. Samuel, though still haunted by the memories of sleep paralysis and the ordeal he faced, found solace in knowing that he had played a crucial role in breaking the cycle of suffering. As time passed, the town of Ravenswood gradually faded from the annals of paranormal history. The memories of the curse became folklore, passed down through generations as a cautionary tale of the consequences of hidden sins. Samuel, despite the scars he carried, became a symbol of resilience, a reminder that even the darkest secrets could be confronted and overcome. And so, life in Ravenswood continued, a delicate dance between the past and the present. The once ominous forest stood as a testament to the town's collective strength and its ability to rise above the shadows that once threatened to consume it. The people of Ravenswood, having faced their deepest fears, found a newfound appreciation for the light that emerged from the darkness, and in that delicate balance, the town thrived once more.
Like, subscribe, and click on notifications that will allow you to stay up to date with the news and not miss videos from the channel, where there will be many more horror stories.